The dreaded Saturday morning call that your wash is down. The Autec EV1 is what I have, and I'm going to show you how to fix the travel timeout fault. It is almost always the proportional valve, and that is an easy fix that you can do as an owner. You don't have to wait for a tech to come out. It's something that you can be back up and running in 15 minutes instead of waiting a day and losing a lot of revenue. And I'm going to walk you through how you know that it's it and what you do about it and how to fix it pretty quickly. So, all right, here's how you know. I'll walk you through it. So you can see here, it's sitting, the home position is usually here. And you can see it sitting way back here. And what happens is the computer requires this machine to get to this point in a certain amount of time. Now you can adjust the amount of time and fudge it a little bit, but that's not a good idea because that means there's usually a problem. The first thing I always check, and you can see I came here this morning and it's sitting way back here, is I want to just make sure there's nothing on the track. Sometimes weird things can impact it, you know, metal, any kind of metal, like even a wrapper or something, tinfoil. So there's nothing really blocking it. And the second thing I test is how far and how fast it goes. So I'm going to move the machine and we're going to see how fast the machine moves back and forth. But I can almost guarantee it's the proportional valve. Okay, I use the manual controls to bring the machine back to the home position. You should know how to do that. If not, I can show you in another video. But I brought it back and it moved at a pretty fast clip. If the proportional valve's really clogged, the thing will crawl like at a snail's pace. But in this case, it actually moved at a pretty good clip. But there's probably a little bit of junk in the line, but probably not a lot, but it's enough to trigger the error. So here's the front of the machine, and I'm gonna just walk you to where it is. So it's on the right side, right here, on this panel. Now these panels, let me just say, there's three little bolts here. I always just leave these undone. There's really no reason to keep these locked. I'm sure the manufacturer will tell you something different, but I just keep this one locked and this one locked, and then the two over here. Mainly because I can reach them from the ground and I don't have to always get a ladder. But to open these, if you haven't done it, it's pretty simple. You just get a Allen wrench in it. That's locked, that's unlocked. Okay, this is the right side of the machine. You'll rarely have to come over here. You may, if you're ever low on hydraulic fluid, make sure you use the water-based stuff to repair or replace the filter. You'll have to do that. Over here, if you ever do need to mess with the speed of the brushes, how fast they turn or slow they turn, you can mess with it there, but you really shouldn't. And then this is the one, like I said, it usually is just about a month after they do the install. While I don't know if it's the junk in the line comes from, you know, when they bore out the holes and things like that. And maybe there's a little slug. Now this is hydraulic, so it has to come through a line, but maybe when they make the line, there might be some heavy dirt or dust in there or something, but it will clog and you will be able to see it. So first thing I do is all you really need is an adjustable wrench. Now you will need a locking wrench here when you go to actually fix it, but you just come over here and you undo this bolt right here. It should come off pretty easily, and that's the cap. Okay, so take that off first, and then there's a little rubber thing. Make sure, like I just dropped it, don't do that. And then you take this off and I just kind of set it down, and there's a second one that just fell down, and then you just really unscrew this. And once you get it loose, you can actually unscrew your finger. And see how that comes out? And you're gonna see hydraulic fluid in there. And basically this works like a filter. So hydraulic fluid goes in and out of that hole, and that's what allows the machine to go up and down. So this is a pretty big deal for such a small little part. There should be a rubber little washer there. There should be one on the other side, and then one on the other side of of where the little valve goes. So, all right, let's take this in the workbench and I'll show you how to fix it, and then we're gonna put it back. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to clean out that proportional valve. So what you do is you put it in a vise upside down, and I recommend every car wash, you need to get a workbench and you get a vise. I got my workbench at Harbor Freight. It's a little messy right now, for 150 bucks. And then I bought the vise for 25 bucks at Harbor Freight as well. And it's just too much work to not have one. So you put it in the vise upside down. Make sure you got a pretty good grip on it. You don't over tighten, but I mean tight enough it's not going to move. The second thing is you need to really watch these. If you can kind of see, there's a rubber piece, and then these are little plastic inserts. These are all part of the seal. You got to really make sure you don't mess those up. And what you don't see is right here. That will actually come undone. And the way you get it done is you need some channel locks, and you got to make sure you put it, I don't know if you can see right here, you put it in between the threads, and you want a really, really tight grip. I mean, like, I'm really squeezing. You got to make sure that's super, super, super tight, because you don't want this to start stripping. And then you should be able to just pull it this way. You see how it just loosened? If it doesn't move, now you don't want to pull. If you pull, it'll just tighten it more, and I've gotten to where I got it so tight I could never undo it again. But you want to pull the left, and this will literally unscrew, and you can kind of see it unscrewing right there. And it'll unscrew. Now here's the big thing. You have to be very, very careful when you take this off, because you will forget what order the parts go in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this channel lock off, and I'm gonna lay it back down without taking this off, so I can show you what's inside each one. Okay, I laid it on the workbench. I highly recommend doing this on a towel and being very careful, because if you don't know where these parts go, you're gonna really hate yourself. So when you pull this out, you're gonna see you have this little clip. I don't know if you can, let me zoom in here. You have that little clip, and this just kind of comes off, right? It's gonna be able to come off, but that's where it goes if it comes off. This little spring sometimes will come out, but this will slide out. And that's what goes inside here. You can kind of look in there. There's pieces in there. And then in here, there is a little rod that will come out, and it slides right down inside there. See if I can get it to come out. See, I've had it come out on me before, so just be careful. What you need to do really is clean this thing really good, especially those holes. I like to use just some compressed air to blow it out, wipe it out really good. You'll see the junk. I already kind of wiped out a little bit, but you'll see the junk all in there. It'll be little things, but it's enough to clog those holes. So clean this really, really good. And when you're done, you want to make sure you slide that back up in here, just like that. This thing will come off. Make sure it slides back in, and slide it back in very gently. And then be really careful as you start to thread it to make sure you don't cross thread it. Put it back together, and you are done. But see, it's a simple repair, but it's something that will shut you down. It takes 10 minutes to clean it really good, but it'll shut you down, and you can wait a day for a tech to come out and do it. Not to mention having to overnight a part from Autec that you don't necessarily need. These rarely go bad, they just get dirty. Think about this as kind of like a filter, a secondary filter for your machine. Hopefully that helps. Make sure, like I said, don't lose any parts. Make sure this is all nice and clean when you put it back in, and I'll show you how to put it back in. Okay, we're back. We have our new, nice, clean proportional valve. We're gonna just, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to clean it out or anything. I do like to just make sure there's not like a lot of dirt and stuff in there. I'll use a little red rag here and just kind of clean it out there a little bit. Make sure we're good. Shouldn't be anything in there, but you never know. Okay, then you just screw this in. Now you don't want to make it super, I mean, you do want to make it snug, but not crazy tight. Okay. And what I do is I just kind of do it like once it's finger tight, I just kind of get it to where it's just snug enough that it doesn't leak out. Like there, I don't go super hard. Okay. Now I gotta get my little washer that dropped on the ground down here. Okay, got my little rubber washer off the ground. All right, slide that on there. Put that back. And then I put this on there. And I put my cap on. I don't go too crazy on the cap. And I also I don't like these rubbing, so I just kind of move it over a little bit. That's all you do, seriously. It's not a long repair. And what sucks is being down, waiting on someone to come out and do what I just did. And I don't, like I said, I don't make this tight at all. It's really just to kind of hold it. You just don't want this moving around. As long as that's secure, you're good. And that is it. Let's do a test wash. Okay, I think it's working good. You can tell because look how fast it's going up and down the track. It's going at its normal speed. All right, good repair.